G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present Jump On, Jump Off, heading into round four. And joining me, as always, for this series is Brad from SuperCoach Pro. How are we doing, Brad?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Another big week for trades, so it does feel like the last sort of week for corrections for structure and rookies before we head into upgrade season. So another important week for the Supercoach community to make some moves. And there's plenty to discuss once again this week. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Brad Supercoach Pro on YouTube and also on and follow him on Twitter as well. His Twitter game has lifted tremendously over the past couple of years, so he deserves an absolute follow there. And follow me on Twitter at Stephen DW Smith and also on TikTok, SDS underscore Supercoach. Let's discuss Brad, shall we? The number one most traded out player at 6.8%. I doubt it will be like this for much longer, but Xavier Lindsay for the D's, one price rise and a very unfortunate knee injury to end his day early last Saturday, Arvo. 6.8% of trading him out. They've ruled him out for 1 to 2 weeks. The D's, so his latest return will be round six. His earliest return will be round five. Is he
Yep.
a trade out?
I think he's a whole just purely for the fact that he's a good scoring rookie and it's only 1 or 2 weeks, so he could probably hold in best 18 and just the scoring's there, that's for sure. So I'd hold if I was those 6.8%, mate. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a definite hold considering a bit of the news that has dropped over the past 18 hours with Mitch Neverton and also Lucas Campriali, which we'll head to in the short term, discussing these most traded out players. So yeah, I think Lindsay is a hold. Very good scenario that he is only out for 1 to 2 weeks as opposed to an ACL tear. He'll be, I mean, if he's scoring 70s and 80s in his first two games, I think we've got pretty a good amount of confidence what he can do when he comes back. So yeah, I think he's a hold. Jason Horne-Francis is the second most traded out player, 496K. Has had one price drop, but is looking at another big price drop heading into this week. 6.6% of trading him out. He was nearly number one most traded out player. Are we, do we think Horne-Francis is a jump off, Brad?
I personally think he's a jump off just because I can buy him back at 400k when he drops. I know he has good quarters, but I'm out of this pick due to just fixing up my team elsewhere. I think there's a few better options. It might bite me in the short term, but I think long term, I just want to make a bit of cash for other rookies that we'll probably look at in trading in scenarios. For me, I'm jumping off, but I see a world where he bites us all that traded him off and we've got to buy him back in a month's time because he's in form and he's almost F1 again. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I think either scenario is fine. If you had to choose between She's on Horn Francis to trade off, I'd probably go Horn Francis. But I think holding's fine as well, and just making sure your rookies are in check here. Yeah, it's him and Bailey Smith's prices will probably flip in a couple of weeks. So if you wanted to grab a Bailey Smith, then I think Horn Francis is fine to use. But if you don't need to trade him, I don't think he is a must trade. I think he's fine to just upgrade around and sort out your rookies. Like number three, James Leake, I think he is, unless named this week, I think he's a very confident jump off here. 5.4% of trading him out seems dead with all these Giants players coming back now. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, he's dead for me. I'll swap him next week because I've already got bias a week early. So, yeah, trade him for maybe Travalia next week. But
Yep.
yeah, he's definitely a trade, especially if he doesn't get named in the next fortnight, mate. We need cash gen, and yeah, he's got to be out of there if we can't rely on cash gen from him.
Yep, agreed. And very similar to the next bloke here, Finn O'Sullivan, 4.7% of trading him out. He's not really, from what it seems like, he's not going to bite you on the ass if you trade him. Seems very slow cash gen coming his way. And we've got to jump on some of these other guys that are looking to make money a lot quicker. So I think he's a very confident jump off Brad.
Yeah, I agree. Just the scoring's not there, regardless of the role. Like it's yeah, like 40s are no good for that price tag. So yeah, jump off for me as well.
along with number 5, a lot of these rookies we're looking to correct this week. Lucas Cambriali not named again this week for the Blues, subbed off in round 2, and he's not even named in the emergency. So for the very short term, he seems to be pretty dead now. So at 113k, probably can do an easy swap to Moraes potentially, which we'll talk about in a sec. But yeah, I think he's fine to jump off, Brad.
Yeah, jump off as well. Not named, not emergency, so easy jump off for me.
Yep. Number 6, we got Ben Patton for the Swans. I actually, unless you're swapping him to a Bice, I reckon, he could be a handy loop for your side, but ideally you don't want to be having loops at this point of the season if you can help it. So 133k is a handy defensive forward loop to have, but maybe a little bit early in the season to be having loops. I think there's other priorities over Patton this week, but people will be looking to swap to Bice, which is fine. So I think he's probably a jump off, but not the worst to hold.
Yeah, I reckon he's dead. I'd jump off as well.
Yep. At number 7, we've got Sam DeConning, who's coming up against Max Gawn this week. What is that break even? I haven't checked yet. 95. Yep. Jump off for me. Looks like he'll be a number 1 ruck for one more week, but at 3.5% and a 95 break even seems to be looking to lose some cash there. And yeah, I think there's other opportunities elsewhere to have a look at for Sam DeConning. So yeah, I'd be fine jumping off.
Yeah, I'll probably hold on for this one just because he probably won't be named with Stanley, but there's
Yeah,
just
true.
nowhere to go to him. Unless you go on a Bowie, there's nowhere you can really go to him. If he gets the number 1 ruck role still, like you're just gonna have to hold on until you get a premium that's come down to 450 and hopefully exchange 50 grand and call it a day. But yeah, a couple of weeks ago it was looking hot, but now, yeah, just, he even got subbed out, so no good. But you'd probably just hold it and hope he turns it around at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's probably bigger priorities than trading out DeConning, so you might just have to bite the bullet with the price drop this week. At number 8 is Mitch Nevitt, and I actually personally reckon he's probably number 1 when it comes to priority rookie jump offs here because it's a very strong Geelong team that they're running out with. They don't. He's now been ruled out for this round due to a foot injury, plantar fascia, similar to what Callum Mills is dealing with. This could be 1 week, 3 weeks, 3 months. We don't know how long this could be. So I think this is a very clear jump off. And yeah, I'd prioritize jumping off him over O'Sullivan, Camporeale. I think I'll just get him done.
Yeah, I think so too. The time frame could be anything, and then he could also manage it as well. So it's one of those ones that's just not worth holding at this point. I'd get rid of him over Lindsay any day. So I think we'll see that swap around by Thursday, Friday night.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, nah, so he's pretty easy. Number 9, we've got Sam Lawler. He's probably in that Finn O'Sullivan sort of boat there where um just where these results are going, it's not going to be in favor of Lawler's score. So I think there's other rookies you can prioritize, I guess similar with Finn O'Sullivan, but I think he's a guy that isn't going to hurt you cash gent wise. So I think you can jump off if need be.
Yeah, I'll probably hold Layor 1 or 2 more weeks. He's got a break even of 47. But yeah, it's a hard one. Like I'd wait till he get to maybe 260, 270 because you already paid 200 for him. He's only made you 16k, so yeah, hold for this point. Just hopefully that he has a few spike scores. Like he showed how good he was round 1. If Richmond are playing well, he's going to play well, which might not happen more than you want. But yeah, I don't know. I'd just hold him for now. I feel like the role's a little bit better than Foss because he's playing a little bit midfield and forward, whereas Foss is just sort of playing wing, where it's just not really conducive to scoring at all. So for me, I'd hold unless you've got 113k to make off him like a Moraes or something crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the role's better. Yeah, I'm sure an eventual spike score will happen with Lawler. So
Yeah,
that is fair enough. Yeah. At number 10, we've got who seems to be on this every single week. It is Matt Flynn. Just to talk about him is just funny. 261k. If you want to hold, that's fine. You got one more week at best 18, and then you got to, if you're holding him at R2, you really got to correct next week. 261. I mean, if he's not at R2, then yeah, that's pretty easy to jump off. Use that money. Yeah. If you really need a hold and wait for that Gorn price drop, then that's fine as well. You got one more week of protection till you got to make a move. So yeah, team dependent really.
Yeah, you'd definitely jump off. You could wait one more week just for Briggs to come down. That's the only play you'd be holding on for. Other than that, yeah, you just go for a Marek or Humphrey at flex if he's in your flex position if you haven't already. So yeah, jump off.
Yep, for sure. As we move into the most traded in players, number one at 17%. That's a lot. Christian Moraes, negative 79 break even. So if he goes 42, he makes 55K. So that's quite a fair bit. So yeah, he's a pretty clear jump on considering all of these mid rookies that we prioritize are now dying. I think Moraes looked fantastic against the Bombers on Thursday night, 27 touches. Seems to have good short-term job security, so I'd be looking to jump on there uh, for sure.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. Just the negative break even if he scores like a 70 or 80 or something really well, he's going to go up to like 180 by next week. So I think it's an easy pick for the rookies in the midfield. And as you said too, the rookies in the midfield seem to be dead. So he's not even a bad one to field if you needed to as well. So yep, jump on.
And as well, yeah, agree. He's a good on-field option this week as well because I think the Saints have concede the most to wingers as well. So I think he's a very safe on-field option this week. Number two is Riley Bice. We got some defender rookies coming our way now, but I think just with his potential scoring and his him being a mature ager, I think he could be one of the good defensive rookies. So if you got a pattern, got a leak, that type of thing, if you don't have Bice already, then I think that's a good swap. 113K. Hopefully he can hold on into the side long term. So we'll have to see about that. But I think he's a good on-field scoring rookie. So I think he is a definite jump on.
Yeah, I think so too. With the news of Mills being out for a little bit more as well, I'm not worried about Cunningham's replacement or anything like that. I think his job security is pretty set. Like we already saw how much he tore it up. He even gets kickouts as well. I reckon he probably goes 85 to 90 plus against the Roos this week as well. So yeah, definite jump on for me. He's probably the rookie of the week if I was to pick one for sure. So yep, jump on.
Yep, very much so. And then at number three, we've got Bailey Humphrey from the Suns. Fair talking point with him, 270K. He's gone back-to-back tons in the first two games, albeit against some pretty poor opposition. But we get to see a real test this week against the Crows. I think the positive sign is that his CBAs are holding up when Flanders has been named back into the team, and then Tuke Miller's actually dropped in CBAs before Humphrey did. Seems to be that point of difference midfielder that can get 30 to 40% CBAs that the Suns have been missing. Really seems to be a breakout candidate for 2025. We've seen this in the past of him getting to 450K. Could be a very similar scenario this year. So I think he is a very good jump on Bailey Humphrey. Not essential, but I think he is a good target to have.
Yeah, I agree. Like even if he scores you a 72, he's going up 55k, and then he's got North and Richmond after the Adelaide game. So it's probably going to make you 100 to 150 in a month's time, and then you can reassess if you think he's a genuine F6, F7, or if you just want to punt him for a fallen primo. So I think he's probably a better jump on than some of these other mid-price guys just due to the fixture short term. But there's also a world where he's a third-year player and he could be a sneaky smoky for a top eight finish. You just never know, depending on the DPPs that come in round 6 and 12.
Yep, agreed. There's certainly a couple of guys that are looking to gain DPP, so that'll be an interesting watch and a guy that we can hold around for a decent time from what the role looks like. At number four, we got Matty Rowell, who seems to uh, have another strong start to the season like last year. 5.7% of trading him in. I've got a good feeling this is probably a midfield primo swap with Rowell. So 5.7% are looking to trade him in. I think there's better priorities to have over Real. But if you're that far ahead and you're looking to swap, then that's fair enough. But yeah, yeah, this is a fine jump on, I guess. He seems to look even better than what he did last year, so I think it's fine. But yeah, just make sure you got your rookies in check.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably more a luxury thing, but the Real fixture coming up is decent, as
Yep.
I said with Bailey. So you jump on, but I probably like Anderson better, even though he's not mentioned in this top 10. So yep, nah, trade in Real if you really got no other issues.
Yep. Agreed. And Anderson's a very good underrated shout as well if you want to go something different. Number five is the other part of the Bailey Humphrey discussion. Ryan Marriage, 265K, different to Humphrey. He's actually already had a price rise. With McGovern out for 2 to 4 weeks with a groin injury, from what it seems like, looks like he's got the monopoly for kick-ins for the time being. I think the role is probably better than Humphreys, but Humphrey is the better player. So it's an interesting discussion, real 50-50 vibes. I think both are great options. Probably prefer Humphrey, but I think Marich is a very solid option as well, with all those kick-ins. And yeah, I think the Giants are a little bit more restrictive than Freo for defenders, but yeah, with that DPP as well, I think that comes in handy.
Yeah, I reckon too. I think the kick-ins are what's there. He's in the back line. He's a forward rookie playing in the back line. Then he's got Carlton and Essendon after that. So you're hoping that he gets a gov free run there and he's made you 150 and then you can reassess. But that 123 in his system will be there for the next two price cycles as well. So if he backs up another ton, you're laughing and the cash gen's going to keep going. So for me, out of these two, you're hoping one of them punts off. That's why I'm sort of taking both this week. But yeah, jump on for me.
Yep, I agree. Number six is Jack Sinclair. I personally reckon that I felt like he had to jump on last week because I felt like that was the matchup to target
Yep.
for Sinclair. So you're paying 22K more with a worse run. I think it's a fine jump on. We know he's going to be a top six defender, but there's probably guys like Zorko um and Whitfield that I prefer to jump on this week. So I think it's fine, but yeah, little mild point chasing exercise with the 162 in him, but we know Sinclair will be top six.
Yeah, I think he's even probably top three. So I think it's Sinclair, Whitfield, and Zorko this year.
Yep,
Um, yeah, you bring him in, but you're probably not going to get any value out of what he is. Like you're paying top dollar for this bloke now. So,
yep,
but yeah, I can see if you want to jump off a Shees type, then yeah, Sinclair's probably your man. Yep, trade in.
yep, that's fine. And then number seven, probably the guy I'd prioritize most for people that don't have him is Bailey Smith, 389K. Best chance to be a keeper out of him, Humphrey and Ryan Marich. I think Melbourne's a fantastic matchup for him as well. So yeah, I'd prioritize him over Humphrey and Marich if you don't have him, and I think this is one of the easier jump ons this week.
Yeah, he's even a sneaky VC. Like he's playing Melbourne, they give up the second most points to midfielders. Like he's a good shout. Like he's going to be top six forward, I reckon, this year. I think he's sort of a no brainer to bring in before the price jump. Like he even had 80 something in the rain against the toughest opposition you can probably get is Brisbane. So yeah, for me, jump on and just ride it with the rest of the 70% they're going to own him anyway. So yep, jump on for Smith.
Yeah, the ownership as well will scare some people as well. So yeah, I'd make sure you get him in. Oh, fucking
Yep.
hell. Um, Number eight is the next couple are very funny. Sam Davidson. Oh, would you pay 190 now for him? You probably would still. I think the role he's probably good enough to still get 150K more in him. Uh,
Yep.
you would hope so. Um,
Yep.
that role can be very wishy-washy with scoring. Yeah, I would jump on, but uh, yeah, really should have started him, Brad.
Yeah, agreed. You should have started him, but that 130 whatever it is, in or 129 in his system makes him a negative break even of 88. So
Yeah.
even if he scores 62 this week, he still goes up 66K against Fremantle. It's probably likely he does that.
Y-
So
Yeah,
yep,
probably
jump on.
probably does. Yeah, jump on, but getting punished for not picking him.
Yep.
Number 9 is Tom DeConning. Cool. Yeah, jump on. 573K. Still immense value for what he's capable of. Yeah, I wouldn't be primo swapping if you didn't start him, but yeah, he's fine to get in if you've got a Flynn R2 or whatever the case may be there.
I think Pito's only a 1 week away, so I actually wouldn't jump on him in case you jump on this week and then you find out Pito plays VFL or something, and then he's in 2 weeks' time, you've sort of lost your
That's
declining
true.
pick. So yeah,
That's
that's
true.
yeah,
Vossi can do some very interesting things at the selection table, so can't rule
yeah,
it out. So yeah, actually, probably better off just fading and just hoping that Pitternett comes back
sure,
realistically if you don't have him.
agreed.
Probably more of a starting pick than a trade in pick. So yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah, probably hold off at this point if you don't have him. And number 10, Dane Zorko. I think this is a great trade in 620K. The only negative I see is Coleman's back in 3 weeks, but I don't think they'll affect Zorko too much. It's probably the best vice captain and captain option this week in Dane Zorko. Richmond just leak points for fun in for attacking defenders. So I think this is a probably a better trade in than Sinclair personally. So yeah, I'd be fine with jumping on even at 620K.
Yeah, I'd jump on. He's the number one scoring player in Supercoach right now, averaging 136 in 18% of sides. And then second is Rao, third McRae, and fourth Sinclair. So Zorko, yeah, for me, is probably a better pick than these other players. But it just does worry me that if there is a blowout, that he could get rested in some of these final quarters. So I'd just be wary of that. Buyer beware. But definitely probably one of the better VC shouts this week, or even captain shouts this week. And the fixture just starts to open up as well, even more so. So yeah, definitely jump on Zorko. I think he's probably D1 this season.
Yeah, it does seem like it. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be fussing too much about the uh alternatives on what could affect his scoring. I think the scoring's there and will continue to stay. So uh
Yep.
Zorko is probably the best vice captain and captain option this week if you're really struggling for one, trade into one. So yeah, that is all the options, Brad. Uh thank you guys so much for watching. We've recorded this a little late, so Brad needs to get to work. So uh,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching. Brad, thank you for jumping on, mate.
Thanks, mate. I'm going to go to work now. So I appreciate your time and you have a good one.
Yeah, you too, mate. Have a good weekend. Best of luck for Supercoach this week, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.